Okay, what's up, everybody? This is Dan with the Bullish Bears team. Gonna do a quick stock market recap. Recap some of the stocks that were frustrating. Some of the ones that had good setups and followed through. Um, just kind of the tail of the tape today, and look at um, just a couple of stocks that we were watching in Power Hour today. I'm first gonna highlight IGC. So IGC, you could pretty much see all day long that this was angular support right in here. And the stock was really held down by a lot of pressure, right? It had this angular resistance. It was kind of in this tight wedge situation. And I just realized I need to turn the chat bubbles off because that can get kind of annoying. So let me turn that down real quick. So again, IGC was held down, got a massive amount of volume to break it out of this right angle, right around 188. And you could see once that hit, it hit a wall of sellers around $2, pulled back. Of course, you see these pop-ups all the time. Pop up on volume, chasers, everybody else piling in on the stock, the rest trying to get out, and then a retest, so it needs to wash and flush to bring people back in. And then we were looking at entering this again after the retest. I really liked this particular candle right here is what attracted me to the stock. Unfortunately, I ended up exiting the trade a little bit too soon. Oh, I should have audio. Looks like I don't have audio. Test, test, test. Can you guys not hear me? Can anybody hear me on YouTube? Oh, okay. That was embarrassing. Okay. Well, shame on you, NYC. Just kidding. All right. So this stock bounce, great buy me candle. Guys, and just to make a note, there's no moving averages on my chart because everybody understands moving averages and crossovers. I think the bigger thing for traders to understand are patterns and candlestick setups. And you had a really great candlestick setup here. So I want to focus on just the cleanliness of the chart, the cleanliness of the pattern, and then talk about the big picture for IGC. So we were looking at what was it? I went back on the 5-day, 5-minute chart, and it's really simple what I did. I went back and I connected these peaks, okay? And I tried to get it as close to candlestick close price as possible. And it looks like I went up a little bit higher on this because I drew this really quick, but I had 205 as a resistance right here, angular resistance. And we're above that right now. And if you go back on a weekly chart, you'll see that back in 2014, we had a couple of days and weeks where we hovered in this area around $2. You can see all these weekly wicks here around $2. And actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my fib on and go right to 0. All right, I'm off by a penny. But what you guys can see here are these custom Fibonacci levels that I have on here. So I've edited the Fibonacci tool in Thinkorswim. Helps me give direction, entries, and exits. Thanks, everybody. Entries and exits on these stocks. And so, funny enough, 205 was also, not only was it angular resistance, but it was also Fibonacci resistance here at this level. And we'll be looking at 234 tomorrow. Maybe it hits it in the after hours today, pre-market, but this is a very interesting stock. IGC had a lot of volume, tight bid ask, a little bit frustrating to trade. You would have had to try to catch these knives towards the bottom, but you guys can see with Fibonacci it makes it a little bit easier how price behaves around them and how it reacts once it gets away from them. So that was IGC. CRON, my chart's a mess, so I'm just going to redraw it for you guys, give you guys the kind of the story here. So 5-day, 5-minute on CRON. As you guys know, CRON made a high here at 1390, and we were actually on this pretty closely, this falling wedge yesterday for the breakout. You could see the falling wedge right here with the breakout. You know, had an okay close, didn't really retrace too high during the regular session, but in the after hours we started to gain some momentum back. You guys can see right here, angular momentum, pretty much rode it all day today. So a little bit frustrating because you didn't have too many, we didn't have a lot of follow through on these patterns this morning with ascending triangles. We were looking at ascending triangles with inverse head and shoulders inside of them. We were looking for breakouts above VWAP on volume, and we didn't get a lot of that. So it was kind of frustrating to try to play a lot of these stocks throughout the day today. You got very little follow through and lots of pulling back to these angular supports. So, and if you draw a pretty level line, let's throw a line up here on price. You can see CRON got just above. You kind of have a bit of an ascending triangle here. And let's see in the daily chart on CRON, you know, pretty nice daily candle close and volume here. So the bulls are very much alive still on CRON. And this is where I want to switch to a 5-day, 5-minute chart and really look at the top of the channel. So this is a channel that I'll leave on my chart. And what I'll do is basically look for CRON to trade in this channel and work its way back up. And I had my fibs drawn on CRON going way back. I actually think I went, did I go back 20 years on this? No, I did not. Let's see. So we've got candlestick resistance. So this had actually broken out. What I want to do, maybe what I'll do is I'll go back. I want to get accurate as possible with these fibs. So we got 29 cents down here. Let's try to get it close. I keep getting 26 and 33. So you can see we're just hovering around these 12. This 1250, CRON really needs to leave like the 1260s in the past. Get above 1260s. We were talking about that during the day in the trade room. 1260s was like kind of a magic number for CRON to get above and kind of bull. So CRON's definitely going to be on the watch list for us tomorrow. AMD, another great stock that's had great price action, and it's just got a great ATR, average true range on it. And you can see what's happening. This is a 20-year weekly chart of AMD. I've showed a lot of our members this many times at this point. But this red angular resistance line is a major overhead resistance. And you can see we peaked out here. We peaked out here back in 08, peaked in 01. And we're now actually, we breached this briefly. And now we're kind of pulling back at this point. And this 50% retracement level of the major Fibonacci is right here at 25 bucks. So we were looking for 25 bucks for quite a while in AMD, and we got it. Now we're kind of oscillating between 25 bucks and this 26.30. It was 26.40. It's now 26.30. This line's coming down over the top of us, and you know, we want to get above 26.30s. You really want to leave 26.40s behind. And then to really clear the last high that we made, 2730, I've got that marked out. So, currently AMD is it's still kind of hanging tough, like surprisingly. I think it's surprising a lot of people, and everyone wants to call the top on this and and buy puts or short it. You can see right now we're kind of dealing with this thick. Let me actually dot this so it stands out a little bit better. We have this kind of angular resistance on it right now. We get above this, we get above 1230, we can then test 2630s again, and then so on and so forth. Now the downside on AMD is pretty heavy. You've got downside risk. Let me pull up the hourly chart so you guys can see. I've got this big thick green trend line down here. This is the prior to, this is really the earnings breakout. Caught support here, another massive run, and now this trend line at some point, this trend line is going to get tested at some point. Someday, right? We don't know when, but if we start to lose, and we almost did today, we actually had a few prints below 20, right below 24. And was it below 24? It was very close. 23.98 it looks like. No, right at 24. So if 24 bottom drops out, I could see AMD flushing and just getting rid of all the bulls and just refreshing this back to this trend line. So that'll be interesting to see if AMD holds 24 or not. So, but in the meantime, it's got great price action. So what we saw today, you guys can see all my chicken scratch trend lines. We had falling wedges, double bottoms. We were looking for, let me go to a 1 minute chart so you guys can see it a little bit better. Wow, that's really bad. I'm going to redraw my chart real quick. So we had AMD bottom around 24 like we were just saying. You could see right here, AMD was kind of caught in this descending triangle. It got above VWAP in this area, and once it got above VWAP with this decent amount of volume, it was actually right in this area. It went on this nice run, and that's where we had overhead resistance around 24.75. So we had our trend line up here. We were expecting it to kind of have a little bit of trouble right here, and it did. So, and it kind of, bounced off of it a couple of times and then got above it. So unfortunately, I had to delete most of my other trend lines, but you guys would have, it might have been this line that I had drawn on there. I believe it was. So just to give you an idea, AMD, great tight bid ask, lots of volume, heavily traded, not a pump and dump. It does have great price action. It's a great teacher, great average true range. So there's just a lot of good reasons to love this stock. And trade it on a daily basis. So interesting daily candle for it above here. Hey Calvin. So that's AMD. So we recapped CRON, IGC, AMD. We can take a look at, actually let me pull up some of the other stocks that did pretty well today. Oh, CVSI. Let's pull up this one. This one had a decent move intraday that we were able to catch thanks to a little bit from TrendSpider, actually. I had a TrendSpider chart that I shared earlier. I'm not going to pull it up now, but what we were looking on CVSI was a breakout. Again, had this right angle resistance right in here, got above that, went on a nice little tear from the 320s up to 355, and you can see on the 5-day 5-minute chart it really got really good too above 341. It started to really see some follow through volume. Thought it was going to continue to follow through, but on the 5-day 5-minute chart, you can see this overhead angular resistance that comes all the way down to meet it. I know my chart's a little noisy. Let me see if I can highlight this and make it orange. All right, so that stands out. You had this overhead resistance. We were hoping to get up there and test that. And when it started to turn a little bit right here and top off on this channel, that's when I drew this trend line. And then I looked at this, and you had this line right here come down to smack it down, and it kept it down. So when you see price action behave like that, you got to go, what did I not see? What am I missing with my chart? Why is this happening? And sometimes, obviously hindsight's 20/20, but you might be able to catch this. What I'm telling you guys is you might be able to catch situations with these trend lines ahead of time, and be able to better predict these types of price movements if you're connecting your trend lines. Yeah, no, that's a good point. So Calvin makes a good point. Calvin's in the chat about day trading. You know, it might not be for you, and certainly investing is a very smart thing to do. Everyone should invest and have investments. It's just, you know, a safe, healthy way to grow your wealth. And, you know, other people like the quick, you know, quick decisions of trading. They don't like holding stocks overnight. They want opportunity and volatility. They're comfortable with computers. They have fast reflexes. They're able to recognize patterns and opportunity and manage risk. It definitely takes the right kind of person. You have to study a lot. You have to like learn so many different candlesticks and patterns. It's a lot. It's really a lot to undertake. So you have to take the time to teach yourself it. You might have a natural aptitude towards day trading, or you might just go, you know what, I've tried this for a while and it's definitely not for me. And you don't know unless you try, right? Or you might just know right from the get-go, this isn't for me, I'm going to stay away from it. You know, it's all based on a lot of different factors, personality, and so much more. So I just wanted to highlight a couple different stocks that made some nice moves today, had some good opportunity. We were on top of a lot of them in the trade room. You know, some of them were a little bit frustrating with some of the, you know, morning action, you know, quickly bullish, turned bearish, and we're trapped under resistance for a big part of the day until, you know, after the lunch hour, power hour, things started to heat up. So if you guys want me to chart anything for you, I'm happy to pull something up. If you want to type that in the chat. If you don't, I'll take a look at a couple more stocks. That must not be the right one. Let's see. Oh, that's not it either. That's awesome, Kyle. Yeah, we recommend CMEG. So they use a DOS Trader as a platform, and it's been working really good. You guys can actually see in the description of the YouTube video, we talk a little bit about CMEG, and we have a discount code with them as well. And if you guys join our community and subscribe, join our chat room, you'll see a lot more details about CMEG and how we like using the DOS platform for day trading. Sure, Tesla. Let's look at Tesla. Good call. So, let's see how much. Okay, so here's what I did on this particular chart. These are my Fibonacci fans. Now, these are very fancy. So these have been left up for quite a while, and you can see how price has been reacting and treating these as support and resistance, and price has been accelerating above or below depending on the candlestick patterns that interact with these particular fans. So at the current point, it looks like we're at a major angular support for Tesla. We also have this other one that I hand drew a little bit lower in the 290s. It's where you start to see, this one goes back to here, back to 272. So you start to see Tesla bulls, you know, catch these levels. You can see right here, Tesla had broken out of that right angle on earnings. Pretty big rise. This green trend line here, you have to go way back on the daily to see that one. But we're kind of trading inside of this massive wedge. And, you know, Tesla's got some risk. Yeah, so I'll finish Tesla and then I'll talk to Don and Kyle. But this particular purple GAN fan, I'll call it, Fibonacci fan, is once we start to lose this, again, we can accelerate pretty low into the 290s on Tesla. I mean, right now the candlestick pattern is bearish and not looking good. So I think there needs to be a really big flush to attract new and interested buyers in this low 290s area on Tesla. And what you'll see is this right angle. We're actually trapped underneath this right angle. And this right angle could go on and on, who knows how long. But, you know, the last time it was caught underneath it, it was, you know, several weeks before it was able to muster the volume or the reason to break out of it. So watch that on the right angle. Calvin, we use mainly interactive brokers, CMEG, and Thinkorswim. But for investments, Fidelity. So we have a Fidelity count as well. So we've tried a lot of different brokers. I like the platform that CMEG uses. Again, they use their own customized version of DOS Trader. Interactive brokers you can use DOS Trader with as well, but it's a great platform. And the fees are really good on CMEG too, so it's $2.95 a trade. So IPAS, we were looking at this one again today, and the volume was super light. You could see I was looking for a couple pattern breakouts, falling wedge breakout here, got it a little bit, no follow through, trapped under this right angle. Really just a pretty not exciting day for this particular stock, and low interest and low volume. So the daily candle on this is not too great as well. We kind of already spiked and like hit this 248. We've done it a couple of times. So I mean, it did have a lot of volume in terms of you know, daily volume, shares being traded, but it needs to break out of this right angle. That's IPAS. I'll take a look at SPY. So SPY broke out of this, see this green trend line here. I'm going to extend it to the right. Extend this to the right. So SPY broke out of a rising wedge to the upside and currently is on its way to testing this red line up here. Right, so this is right around 294, 293.75, 294, depending on time when this decides to test this resistance. It may take some time. It may take several days or more to get up to this 295 level, but you can see, you know, the current sentiment is bullish. GDP was good today. There was, of course, that flush in the morning, kind of flat in the morning, then an explosion in the S&P 500, the futures, SPY. So big green candle after this kind of hanging man, and now it looks like we're on a path to 295, 294, 294, 293, right around that 294 range. So that's what I think of SPY, and I think the bulls are in control right now. I'll show you guys I'll take a look at ZYNE. ZYNE is kind of broke out of that, but now it has this as well. And actually, I could represent this pretty well with a GAN fan. So if we went to 25.95 down to the low of 542, right in this area, you can see how price is kind of reacting off of this purple, right? And looks like it's heading up to maybe 870s, 890s, somewhere along this line. So you never know, depending on time and price, when it's going to hit. You could see how far away that is, right around $9. And if you look at the volume and momentum the last 5 days, it's very good, right? Volume and momentum is very good off of this trend line. It closed right there, boom, gapped up, and might have some bit of a megaphone pattern, widening channel. But I would watch $9 at some point tomorrow on ZYNE. Is that EOLS? Another one with my Fib fans, or Fibonacci level. This is I think this is 161. But you can see what happened. The story here basically broke that descending triangle bullish belt hold in the 19s, and now we have this big volume engulfing. What was the news on this one? EOLS, FDA, class 2. Okay, so good news on that one around 8 o'clock this morning. And you can see it's got a pretty tight rising wedge, which could break out to the upside. So there might be some more room for this to run. This has already kind of moved quite a bit, but you never know how stocks are going to react with these FDAs. You could see the ability for this to really move. And I think what happened is I had actually drawn this fib level before it had fully hit its high, so I'll redraw this for you guys. So the low is about 675. Oops. Let's go to 680. This was 38.44, so more or less. So here's this blue line is a 50% retracement level. That's a very major retracement level. So price will react. It'll get crazy around these 50% retracement levels. So this could continue to bull and maybe, this could be a continuation pattern. This could turn into a cup and handle, after a consolidation period, and then bull and head up to 39. We'll have to kind of take it as it comes, but this could be a really interesting one to day trade. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. So that's all I got for you guys right now. I'm gonna sign off for a bit. I want you guys to, if you guys haven't checked out our community, this is actually brand new. Oop, I gotta open up a different browser. Kind of a brand new thing. We're actually doing a 2-week trial. So that's live on our site. So before, there was no trial, and now we have a trial. So that is actually really awesome. We got that done today. So if you go over to subscribe, you guys will see our unfiltered video, our reviews, our different pricing packages, and when you sign up for the monthly or yearly, these are the full access plans, you get 14 days free. Also have our free ebook, so if you guys are not ready to sign up and make that commitment, you guys can check out our free ebook. You guys can take all of our free courses. We got our watch lists, stuff about our alerts, futures room if you guys are into futures. We've got great traders hanging out in here, great moderators, making great money throughout the day trading futures. CL, NQ, ES. We'll be watching. We're actually watching gold to kind of start to break out too. Got our day trade room, and then our blog, great information here, and then our store where we got our merch and stuff like that. So you guys want to come check us out? 2-week trial. That's new today. Figured I'd let you guys all know. I'm gonna try to do these recaps either midday or end of day, depending on time schedule and what we got going on in the community. But look, keep an eye on our YouTube for more streams like this and more content. We're going to be working on some more courses, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And thank you guys for tuning in. Have a nice evening. Wish you all well, and we will see you on the other side.